What up, guys? People are trying to stop grenadiers, as you can see I'm doing with the freaking grappler. It's such a weird inbred meta right now, but people are putting stuff in front and behind of the HQ, and I actually was failing a few times because I was GVing stuff and it wasn't really working out. So I have a couple examples of this. This is number 13, I believe. So what I was doing was I kept thinking, oh, like, I'm going to get to this front prototype faster, so I want to GB the back one and try to kill the front one with my troops because they'll get there more quickly. I won't have to waste as much GB on shocks, and I'll be able to attack it more directly since I'm not trying to go around the HQ. And it wasn't working, and what I realized was that even though this proto is technically closer to the beach, it is so far back relative to its range that I actually spend more time having to shock it overall, because when I am clearing up the wall here, I can get really, really close to it and clear most of the things in the way of this back prototype before I'm ever in range of it. So overall, I'm actually spending less time, and that's when these bases started clicking for me, is when I was able to leave that back proto and try to save it for the second half of my attack. So I'll speed this up here. Clearing with grens and medics, I only use Zukas when I have to go through 2 shields, really. So on bases like this, I will bring 2 boats of medics to keep my troops alive longer because grens love that second medic boat. I do not like 3, though. So once I get in range, I'll finally start shocking. You can see it took up until this point. I let my troops spread a bit here so they can clear the opposite side boom cannons and shock launcher, even though the shock blaster is firing away and I need to shock it because I want those things down, and I think I have time to get them down. Even if bullet dies, if those things are all down and the shock blaster is kind of close, then I can finish the job on that shock blaster. At that point, there's nothing left that can shoot me except the rocket, and that cannot even come close to out-healing everything. So that gives me time to take down the shield generator, and once that's done, I'm going to flare really close to the HQ because grens are more accurate the closer to their target they are. So I want to be right up on that HQ so I can finish it before time runs out, because time is your enemy on attacks like this. If you lose too many grens, you are very liable to run out of time, even if the whole base is down, which is extremely frustrating to do. Alright, we got one more for you. I was debating doing this live, and I didn't trust myself, but I should have. But based on how wet, I don't think my commentary would have been good. I was kind of all over the place with it. Neither of these were the cleanest attacks, but they both went down, so it's worth sharing at least. Again, clearing that front proto with GBE because I want to clear as much as I can before I get into range of it. And like, your troops spread so much in the beginning, and you have to position them so carefully that it's just really, really difficult to ever get that close to the stuff around the HQ while it's still all there. So once the cannon and mortar are down, I'll flare over here to get bullet, make sure he's staying in front, throw an energy drink, and I'm trying to save my shocks here. I want bullet to stay in front and get that boom cannon. You can see he's barely still out of range of the shock blaster. I want that boom cannon down. I'm actually going to smoke him when he gets in range because I would rather lose a medic or 2 than a ton of bullet health. Once that boom cannon goes, I'm going to reflare over, try to stay out of range of that shock blaster as long as humanly possible so I can clear that rocket and flamethrower before I have to deal with it. Then I'll start shocking. I think on this one, I ended up flaring up higher, which was not planned. I planned to clear it the exact same way as the last base, but stuff was going down and I was not getting anywhere close to that shock blaster. This boom cannon was getting hit by nothing, so I realized I wasn't really going to get the shock launcher and boom cannon down in time, so I decided to try to reflare, farm a little bit more of those buildings on the back, and try to attack it from that side instead. And that worked out for me. Had to panic smoke my medics and finally started throwing shocks. I was really low on GB at this point, wasn't sure how everything else was going to go, but I did note that these boom cannons and shock launcher don't range grenadiers if you're on the opposite side of the HQ. So worst case scenario, I can lose bullet, and as long as that shock blaster goes down, I'll be okay. Started throwing some remote defibs on my troops because bullet did go down, and I want enough medics alive to survive that rocket. The shock launcher will get a couple from this angle because I want to clear that shield, but I will also get some passive shots on it from the grenadiers. Just realized I've been doing this in one-time speed, so this attack is much more slow than the last one. I'll speed it up now. I need that shock launcher down, and then at that point I can flare close to the HQ. Try to throw some critters to distract that shock launcher because it was eating a huge number of my grenadiers, and they would not finish the base if it kept shocking like that. Finally it goes down and I can reflare, and that is all she wrote for this base. Hope you guys are enjoying these Gren tri-boosts, and even when people are designing bases specifically to combat them, you're still able to take them down because Grens are so freaking strong right now. It's insane. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed this. I'll catch you next time. Until then, my name is Ryan. This is the PSC Life, and happy booming.